So this time we actually did some problems. Okay, so what's the first one? Number 2. F of x is equal to 2x plus 3 over 3x plus 5. G of x is equal to f of x. That means you have to plug f of x into itself. So did you at least do that for 2 points? So f of x is this, 2x plus 3 over 3x plus 5. And what do I plug in for x? Yeah, 2x plus 3 over 3x plus 5. 2x plus 3 over 3x plus 5. And then you got to simplify this. So multiply top and bottom by 3x plus 5 because that's the least common denominator. And you will get 4x plus 6 plus 9x plus 15 all over 6x plus 9 plus 15x plus 25, and that simplifies to 13x plus 21 all over 21x plus 34. Holy Fibonacci! Those are all Fibonacci numbers. Did you guys even notice that? What's Fibonacci numbers? Are you kidding me? Okay, so did we at least get this for 2 points? Okay? Yamaguchi? That's not the question. And then it says, and here's the part here. So you have to find h of, okay, so this is g of x over here. So find h of x, a function h of x, such that h of g of x is equal to x. So you have to find a function so that when you take this and plug it into it, you get x. Well, what did we learn last year? Plus it's on the notes. And you know what? I was going through the notes. I was just wanted to see what I wrote in the notes. You know this thing? Y equal f of 1 minus x. Remember how you guys did the wrong order? A lot of you did the wrong order on the quiz. This was in the notes. This was an example. So if you guys miss that one tomorrow, I'm just going to laugh. Anyway, what did we learn last year? If you plug one function into another function and the result is x, what can you say about the two functions? They are inverses of each other. That's a property of inverses, that's why. If you have two functions that are inverses of each other, you plug one into the other, the answer is always going to be x. And how do we know that? It's in the notes, and plus we took algebra 2. Right, Mom? Yeah. So what you have to do then is find the inverse of this. So this is like y equals this. How do you find inverse? You switch the x's and y's. Do you think you're going to find the inverse tomorrow?
Yeah.
I think so. You switch the x's and y's, and then solve for y. Do I have to finish this charade, or can you guys do it? You guys can take the ball and run, or you're going to fumble it. Lamb? Okay? What does that mean? So you want me to finish it?
No, I got this one.
Okay. Okay, number 3. Ooh, this is a good problem. Okay, so find the inverse. So we have y equals x cubed plus 3x squared plus 3x. Find the inverse. Now how do you find, what's the procedure for finding inverse again? Switch the x. How many points do you get for switching the x's and y's? If you're lucky, 1. Because you're supposed to know that from last year. Okay, but now you got to solve for y. How do you solve for y? What do you do? Because Mr. Burke, I see y cubed and y squared and y. How the heck am I supposed to solve for y? Well, look at this. Doesn't this like, it's staring you in the face. 1, 3, 3. We just did the binomial theorem. You complete the cube. You add 1 to both sides, like this. Add 1 to both sides. And then, hey, you somebody. What is that? This is y plus 1 quantity cube. You complete the cube. Just for that, the probability of this being on tomorrow's test just went up to 0.875. And then now is it easy to solve for y? Yep, you cube root both sides. And then subtract 1. So y equals cube root of x plus 1 minus 1. Whew, that was clever, yeah? Complete the cube. You guys thought you were good at completing the square. Now you gotta be good at completing the cube. See, I made this one easy though, 1, 3, 3, 1, but what if it's not? Okay, next. Complete the cube. That's a good problem. I love it. Anyway, I made the test. There's 2 word problems now. Did you guys practice the other ones? Don't worry, Mr. Parker. I'm going to clutch up tomorrow during period 3. Okay, number 7. How many people got number 7? 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to have to take a poll of this one. So period 3, period 4, period 5, period 8. So 2 people in period 3.
Wait, attempted got it.
Got it. Got the answers on the bottom. Okay. A problem like this is going to be on the test tomorrow, but it's going to be kicked up a notch. So if I were you, I'd do it again. Okay, here we have a function x that satisfies this equation right here. Okay, I don't know what the function is, but all you have to do is find f of 5. Now look at this. What number, now, since this function holds for all real numbers, you can plug in any number you want. So we're trying to find f of 5. So what number am I going to plug in for x? 5, because f of 5, right? That's what you're trying to find. So basically, you're just going to plug in numbers. That's what you're going to do. So plug in 5 wherever you see x. Go. F of negative 4 plus, except it's going to be minus. 1 minus 5 is what? Minus 4 times f of 5 is equal to 5. See? That's f of 5. That's what you're trying to find. But in order to compute f of 5, now you need to know f of negative 4. So how am I going to do that? Plug in negative 4 now, because then you'll get f of negative 4. So plug in negative 4 for x, and what are you going to get? Go, plug in negative 4. We cannot plug in a number? Go to your room. F of 5 plus 5 times f of negative 4 equals 5. All we're doing is plugging in numbers. That's how functions work, right? You plug in numbers. And then look, you got 2 equations, 2 variables, just solve it. What do you mean 2 equations, 2 variables? Okay, why don't we call f of 5, what do you want to call it? A, and f of negative 4, B. Okay, so what is this equation right here? No, look. B, I don't know why we're doing this, but we're doing it. Minus 4a equals 5. Now what about this? A plus 5b equals 5. Now do you see it's 2 equations, 2 variables? Oh yeah. So what are we trying to find, A or B? We're trying to find A, because f of 5, right? So what do? Solve for b in one equation and plug it into the other. Or you can do addition, subtraction, whatever. This is algebra 1 now. So if I were me, I would solve for b in the first equation. So b equals 4a plus 5. Take that and plug it into the second equation. And so you get a plus 5b. But b is equal to 4a plus 5. equals 5. So a plus 20a plus 25 equals 5. So 21a equal negative 20. A equal negative 20 over 21. The 2's cancel out, so you get negative 0 over 1, which is 0. Okay. Write that down. Next, number 8. Oh, come on. Do you guys? Of course not. Why do we even ask questions? F of x is equal to ax plus b over x squared plus c. Okay, the hardest thing about this, it says the graph is symmetric about the origin. What kind of function is that if it's symmetric about the origin? Odd, even, or neither? You mean we have to know that stuff? Yes, it's an odd function. And what's the definition of an odd function? F of negative x equals negative f of x. So that means if you plug in negative x for x, you're going to get the opposite of what you started with. So hopefully by this time, remember doing this on function 1? We had a problem like this on function 1?
Yeah.
So hopefully by this time, you can just look at it and b got to be 0 then. Can or cannot? Okay. Okay. What is f of negative x? Plug in negative x for x. Go. Negative ax plus b all over, plug in negative x for x. X squared plus c. And that has to equal to negative f of x. The opposite of this. The opposite of this means you multiply it by negative 1. So you get negative ax minus b over x squared plus c. And then you just use common sense. If the left side of the equation has to equal to the right side of the equation, what has to happen? B has to be 0, right? Remember the thing? Does this sound familiar? Look, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. Look, everything is the same except what? B. That's why B has to be 0. Otherwise, there's no way they can be equal. Because, for example, what if B was 2? Then you're going to have this plus 2 over that. And then on this side, you're going to have this minus 2 over that. How are they going to be equal? That's right. So tomorrow, what if I give you this and I said, this is an even function? Then what can you conclude? A has to be 0. Not what if. You're going to get something. Oh boy. And then we can do number 9 now. Very good. What did it come out to? Tilted's what? And remember, if you want to get credit on your homework, you got to draw it on your homework now. That's not even a graphing calculator, Mason. That's really your name. The hole is just getting deeper and deeper. Okay, and then number 10, the word problem. Okay, how many people got the word problem? 2 people. Take a poll twice. 2 and 2 then. 2 and 2. Okay, so there's 2 word problems tomorrow. You're gonna use graphic calculator both. You're gonna prove to me that you can do it. Okay, 10. A can is in the shape of a right circular cone, bottom included. Here's the radius, and here's the height. It is to be made from 1 square meter of material. Find the radius of the can that will maximize the volume. Now, what are we trying to maximize or minimize in this problem? I just read it. The volume. So you need to write an equation for the volume, but that's easy, right? Because the volume of a cone is? Oh, you guys are good. See, but the problem is there's 2 variables. That's going to be the problem tomorrow. The problem is there's 2 variables. So you have to write another equation to get rid of one of these variables. Now, did they give you more information here? Yes, it is to be made from 1 square meter of material. So am I using similar triangles on this one? No, not this one. Okay, so that means the surface area of this thing is 1 square meter. So how do you figure out the surface area of this? Well, there's a circle on the bottom. Pi r squared. And then what's the lateral area? Pi r L, right? Pi r, where L is the slant height. But you can see from this, what is the slant height if you use the Pythagorean theorem? Oh, I see, it's getting better. So the lateral area is pi r times the slant height, which is the square root of h squared plus r squared, and that has to equal 1. The surface area is equal to 1. So so if you don't write this equation down, you got 0 tomorrow. Or if you have a problem like this. Because you can't do anything with it. So what we need to do now is solve for one of the letters of this equation and plug it into this one. Which variable is easier to solve for? I think it's pretty obvious here. Look at the r 3 times, only got h once. It's easier to solve for h. So how do you solve for h? What do you do? Isolate this term. This is algebra. This is the easy part. The hard part is writing this equation. Now it's the easy part. Equals 1 minus pi r squared. How do I get rid of this pi r? Divide. So square root of h squared plus r squared is equal to 1 minus pi r squared all over pi r. How do I get rid of the square root? Square both sides. X squared plus r squared is equal to 1 minus pi r squared over pi r. Quantity squared. How do I get rid of the h squared? It rhymes with subtract. You guys think you are on it, yeah? Well, you're not. Pi r squared minus h squared. And then how do I get rid of that square? You square root both sides, but then you're only going to take the positive one. Oh, you're quick to jump on me. H squared equals minus r squared. So you square root both sides. H equals square root of this ugly thing. There you go. Take this and plug it in there, and then now you can punch it in on your calculator if you dare.
So we get a calculator tomorrow?
Yes, for the 2-word problems. So, but if you don't get the correct function, then it doesn't matter what you do already. So here's the hard part. Just like yesterday, remember the similar triangles one? That's the hard part, is coming up with that other equation. So if you write this down, I give you 2 points. If you can actually solve for h and plug it in there, I'll give you 2 more. And then if you want the last 4 points, you got to be able to graph it on your calculator and calculate the minimum or maximum, whatever I'm asking for. In this case, the maximum. So you have to be able to set the window so you can see the hump like that. And calculate the maximum. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't practice, this is not that easy, you know, just punching it on your calculator. Because you got a order of operations, you got to put the parentheses around there now. Is that the problem? I didn't try it yet. Yeah, well. So of all the, I don't think I'm going to give you any word, or should I? Maybe I should give you a word problem just out of the blue. Let's see if you guys can handle. What do you think? No, because we cannot even handle the ones you did. Well, you know why? Because you guys don't do it on your own. You got to do it on your own. You can't just copy it off the board. That's not going to make you a mathematician. So that's it? That's all the questions? And again, you got to know what affects the graph now. So tomorrow there's going to be more graphing problems, you know, just like the last quiz. And if anybody gets this one wrong tomorrow, I don't know, man. It doesn't matter what graph I give you, you better be able to do this. So, what do you do? So what do you want to do? You want to think of it like this. We're going to go over it one more time because if anybody misses it tomorrow, it'll take up triple. Or you want to factor out the minus sign. It doesn't matter. Aren't both of these the same thing as that? So if you do it this way, you have to shift it one to the left first, and then you reflect it over the y-axis. The y-axis, not the x. I can't believe some people are doing x-axis. And then this one, you reflect it over the y-axis first, and then you shift it one to the right. Do you guys understand that, or are you guys just memorizing? Okay, so that's it then. Okay, so let me think. Well, we finished early, so why don't we do a problem that will help you on tomorrow?
Why don't we do number 9? What would that help?
I don't see it up there again, Cap.
Oh yeah, but
What, is it too difficult to write? Oh gosh, it's killing me. Okay, number 9. Do you think you can use quadratic formula tomorrow? I think so. Number 9. Solve for x, y, and then graph. No, come. What? Okay, now this is either gonna be a tilted ellipse, parabola, or hyperbola. Okay, solve for y. Now, so what we need to do is put this in quadratic form like this. Okay, here's the y squared term. What's the coefficient? Rhymes with more. 4. Here are the two y terms. What's the coefficient? 3x plus 6. And then everything else is non-y, so that goes here. I guess we need more space here. So you got 2x squared plus 5x minus 7. You gotta bring it on this side now. Don't make a foolish mistake and put plus 7 there and then it's gonna come out wild, the graph. Okay, now just throw it into the quadratic formula. Y equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And then simplify it. Like the answer I have on the bottom. See how it's simplified? Punch it in on your calculator. Y1 is the one with the plus. Y2 is the one with the minus. And so the one with the plus will graph the upper half. The one with the minus graphs the lower half. Put them together, you get the whole graph. Now looking at this equation, I'm guessing it's going to be a tilted parabola. Lab? You didn't get a tilted parabola? What did you get? Tilted hyperbola. You got a tilted ellipse again? Let me think. It's a tilted ellipse?
Yeah.
That's not true.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess it would be. But don't expect it to be tilted ellipse again tomorrow. So everyone we did so far is a tilted ellipse. Okay, so it's gotta be something else then. But all you gotta do is quadratic form. It's very mechanical. There's no tricks or anything. So is that it? So you guys think I can collect the homework now then?
No.
Why? We're all done. There's no questions.
I wonder where you are.
Yeah, I'll hand it back right at the end of class. Ma, Tadamoto? You guys are sad. That is just sad. Shouldn't it be all done right now? See, that's the problem. What are you guys waiting for? You're waiting for it to get hard. This is nothing compared to when you get the next chapter. Exponentials and logarithmics. Then what's going to happen? Yeah, but we learned that last year, Mr. Park. And then remember, I also told you here, this is a reminder because some of you forgot. Mr. Mongo is making an appearance.
What?
The homework, remember Mr. Mongo? See, that just tells me you guys are not doing your homework.
Was it hard?
remember Mr. Mongo? And then I told you, I am going to give you the graph of some body part of Mr. Mongo, and then you have to write the equation of it. Now, does that sound familiar? That's on the test now. Mr.
How do you reset the window?
Press the window button. What do you mean reset?
Like reset it to like how it's originally.
Oh, zoom standard. No, but wait. What's the real question? You don't have to reset it. You just set it yourself.
I know, but like, never mind. I just wanted to know.
Well, zoom standard will make it go from negative 10 to 10 on the x and negative 10 to 10 on the y. Is that what you want?
Yeah. No, I was just wondering.
You sure?
Yeah.
Or you want to do zoom decimal?
What is that?
It goes from negative 4.7 to positive 4.7 on the x and negative 3.1 to 3.1 on the y. Why does it? That's because every time you know when you trace the graph, every time you go across the graph, it'll be 0.1. That's why they call it zoom decimal. One click. Each click is 0.1. You guys know what I mean by tracing the graph? That's okay. No other questions. So we should be just dominating this tomorrow then. Okay. It's not difficult. It's only difficult if you don't know what's going on. But we're not keeping up with the homework. Yes. Now we have a question after I put everything away. Uh-huh.
Number 10. This is the equation. I didn't get the right answer. And then I grabbed it.
1/3 pi x squared. Square root of where's the square of this? See, look, you don't have the square. There you go. See, it takes practice, people. It takes practice. It's not that easy to punch in what you see on your paper onto your screen. Don't worry, Mr. Park. I'm called Mr. Clutch. I'm gonna clutch up tomorrow. Right, Mom? Oh, so you okay? I thought we were gonna have more questions.